we have another big finals going on in the NHL. The Panthers are up 3-2 in this series with the Oilers after winning Game 5 on the road last Saturday, and now they have the chance to win their second straight Stanley Cup on home ice. I mean, does it get any better than that? I feel like it's just a gift to be on home ice.
A whole gift.
Yes, exactly. And similar to kind of what we're seeing in the NBA Finals, the team that wins Game 5 closes out the series in Game 6 73% of the time. So it's kind of like, all right, you never want to bet on percentages because Halliburton is a thing, right? But here in the NHL, those percentages look very similar. But Kasey, just looking at how this series has been so far, what's in the water in Florida right now?
Oh my gosh. I want to say Wayne Gretzky's in the water. Bought a rental property down there, started a development camp down there. He's swimming around. Yeah, like the minute that Gretz was like, look, summer's life, I'm going to do all things in Florida. It's just like something was injected into our veins as well as the water. But yeah, it's insane. It's a beautiful thing, obviously, because of growth of game and the fact that like guys don't have to jump away to boarding schools anymore in order to like show their passion for hockey and see if they even have a future. It's starting to build out enough down there to where they can have a life, dream of something realistic. It's tangible. But it's been wild. It's been what you expect. These two teams going toe to toe, and I'll say this: the Oilers have obviously been giving their fans a lot of breathing exercises because it's just so unpredictable. Panthers clearly looking like the strongest team. Oilers finding a way to just continue to stay at it. But after the loss the other day, it's just like the Panthers officially look like that juggernaut that cannot be knocked off. And then you add home ice advantage to it, the statistics behind it. But last year, Panthers went up 3-0 in the series and then dropped 3 games. So the Oilers know how to kind of push some of these buttons to keep this interesting. It's just nerve-wracking. And now the Panthers have something different in Brad Marchand, somebody who is impossible to keep out of the mix, and he's going to be a big factor if whether or not they close this out tomorrow.
Definitely. He's having an incredible showing. I mean, just making headlines everywhere for Marchand. But I do want to ask you about the Oilers and their goalie situation because they're starting Pickard for Game 6. And this is something that, people have been discussing. Maybe it's going to happen. We've seen a little bit about it. But what are your thoughts just on this move?
I can understand why they did this. Right now, they're obviously in a position where it's they have to win or it's a wrap for them. And there's a lot of mirroring and replications to how they were able to pull off and get past the LA Kings team that appeared to have their number. So when they first put Pickard in, they were able to pull off a win, which we didn't see that the other night. But Pickard still allowed 4 goals. After that, he was able to be a little bit more stout and shut down. So, maybe there's something behind being consistent with Pickard and giving him an opportunity to lessen what gets past him. It's unfortunate what's going on defensively in front of him. But realistically, I could see, they found success in the first series of the playoffs, and it was giving consistency behind Pickard because at this point, they've seen enough of Stuart Skinner. The goals are going to get past either one of these guys. So, I think it's the fresh look. I think it's the capability of, what they trusted Pickard with and how he pulled through for them beforehand and just getting less goals in his presence, and they saw that he was able to become more efficient is where I'm going with that in the first series.
Yeah, I think what's interesting too is that Knoblauch spoke on this decision and he spent a ton of time. Seriously, if I had a stopwatch and I timed it, he spent a lot of time just talking about the trust that has been built over time. Not just in this series, but even from last year with the teammates, with the coaches, and just how that has really helped them make this decision. And I think there's a huge difference of making a goalie change if it's out of fear, frustration, rather than confidence and trust. And also when the team is backed behind you, and it really 100%. Really sounds like this locker room is backed behind him, and so that I think that gives me confidence for them, and they know that hey, this isn't just a decision. This is a well thought out. We feel really good about this, and I think when you're in the Stanley Cup Finals, you want to feel good about a huge decision like that.
100%. Well, it's so funny that you mentioned that because literally one of my takes over the weekend was the fact that I feel like there's a little bit more of mental calmness for the Oilers when Pickard's in goal. And it's not to attack Skinner. It's not to go against anything that's been discussed around him. It's just the fact that that's what we've seen. We've just seen a little bit more in front of Calvin Pickard. And look, if you're worried about one less thing on the ice, then you can focus on the other task at hand, which is them getting on the board and going toe-to-toe with a team that's just so strong. So, yes, I think it comes down to trust. I think it comes down to the fact that for some reason, they just have this a little bit more breathing room when Pickard's in net. And that's what they have to go with right now because it could be a wrap tomorrow.
Right. I want to get your perspective more on like the emotional side of this for Boston sports fans more so. We just saw the whole thing with Devers go down, okay? But we had heartbreak earlier this year with Marchand leaving, right?
Yep.
So how should Boston sports fans like handle and feel about the legacy, but also just Marchand in the league?
Oh my gosh. If I had to like say how fans should feel, it should be one of those like, you know, he's a one of our he's a product of us. You know what I mean? He's a product of Boston. So there's still so much pride to be had there, but almost equivalent to the Devers situation, you're seeing a lot of fans that are even more I feel like the heartbreaking emotions have entered back into the scenario considering what he's doing with the Panthers and like, you know, that leadership. We have leadership questions. We have a number of questions going on with the Bruins, and I feel like a number of fans feel like it would be solvable if Marchand was still in a Bruins jersey.
Too bad.
It's too many ifs. You know what I mean? What ifs? But yeah, I think that what you can be proud of is the fact that like he's a product of Boston. He might be Canadian. He might be wearing a Panthers sweater right now, but like everything that supported who Brad Marchand is, all of his unique assets, a guy who played bigger than himself and somebody who just has so much personality and is just tremendous at hockey. The numbers tell you it. Everything else tells you it as well. I'd say he's a product of Boston. You don't have to be born here to be a product, but I say that's something hopeful.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think when I think of it, I'm like, we had it so good. An emphasis on the had, right? It's like, oh, well, at least we knew we were right. Like, at least we knew we had a good thing going for us. But
exactly,
I did want to ask you that because I think it's important. It just fits the overall conversation and what we're really dealing with in Boston right now.
Yes, 100%. It's a lot of change, and we know that change can bring on a wave of emotions.
Yes.
And so all I know is that as soon as the Devers news hit, it was back to NHL trade deadline in March, and I was just seeing like two really frustrated fan bases all over again. But another positive is the fact that so many people are ready to go to war to make sure that Brad Marchand is the Conn Smythe winner at the end of this whole situation and series because he is so well earned. Sam Bennett making a case for himself too, but I don't think many Bostonians are going to support that. And I would go to bat and say that it needs to be Marchand as well.